Was there, and fantastic performance by Elements. We heard Reckless say, I knew we won the game at picks and bans. The comp didn't make much sense to me. What sense did you make of it?
I get what he's saying. You know, they practice these pickups and they practice this aggression, and it worked for them in scrims. However, I think Unicorns of Love could have played their composition slightly differently and played it a little better. So they have a mix between engaged. So if you see Sivir, what do you imagine? You imagine Sivir popping the ulti and going in. But at the same time, if you look at what Elements is bringing, you know, the Gnar wants to catch somebody, the Cassin wants to jump forward, Aatrox wants to jump forward. What if you use that Sivir ulti to walk backwards, and then you have the J4 to Cataclysm forward, and then EQ out, kite them, and with kite, running into an Azir Orianna comp is incredibly dangerous. So I feel if Unicorns of Love held that Orianna ulti a little longer, used the Azir ultimate to push Elements back, and then make them run out of gap closers, make them run out of damage, and then turn with the Sivir ulti, they could have won a lot of these fights. And I'm just going to immediately jump into a replay that highlights the fact how Elements is winning these fights, but also where UOL is misplaying it. If you look at Kikis, he's immediately going in, he's engaging into like a counter hard engage, and immediately comes out the Orianna ulti, but it's too early. Look at the power from that Azir ulti though. That could have been really big in the fight if Vardax didn't get hooked by Blitzcrank. He got hooked with Spell Shield up, and that should never ever happen in like the highest level of play. So UL was making mistakes. Congratulations to Elements for picking them out, but I do think if they would have kited backward, used their disengage and their consistent double AP damage output, they could have basically out-resourced Elements at one point. But props to Elements. They zero hesitation picks. Nif landed a couple really good hooks in those fights. He dragged the AD carrier and killed him, and then Power of Evil just jumped the gun every time, a little too early. What a Zhonya's flash, every single Orianna ulti didn't really connect the mark, and that was sad to see.
Yeah, praise where praise due. Also, the flanking from Fraggen on Kassadin was very impressive at times. Good one for Elements here on Unicorns of Love. Both 1-1 in the weekend. Now, at the end of week 1 of the Spring Split, here is how the standings settled. With a perfect 2-0 record at the top of the tables are Fnatic, Giants, SK Gaming, while H2K, Meet Your Makers, and Gambit will enter week 2, still looking for their first win. Not entirely what we expected, but a nice shake-up here at the first week of the LCS.
I think SK very deserved 2-0. I think Giants surprised 2-0, but bear in mind they did face slightly weaker teams. I want to see if they can make it to 4-0, 5-0. Then again, they don't even expect that for themselves. So we will probably see Giants dropping some games. Surprised that Rocket ended up losing, and I think the surprise of this weekend is Fnatic.
Yeah, absolutely. And Reckless there saying as well, I think it's more of a top 5. It's completely open here in the ULCS this year, and it'll be very exciting to see. It's time to check in on the player that will either lead your fantasy team to victory or ruin your week if you're against him. With 7 kills, 11 assists, a KDA of 18, and a triple kill for a total of 36 points. Today's LCS fantasy leader is Fnatic's top laner, Huni. Well, very impressive game today on Rumble. Do you have him in your lineup?
I don't play.
Oh, right, because you're not able to select yourself.
Exactly. But yeah, I was really impressed by his turnaround Rumble ultis and the way Fnatic played around that. He held it. See, that's the difference between, for example, Orianna ultis from Power of Evil this game. They were slightly mistimed. Huni baited the enemy team in. They came in. He turned that around with a Rumble ulti. They couldn't retreat, but they couldn't fight either, and they essentially just got grilled by great play by Huni.